Hi, Justin Bote, enrolled agent, owner of Vote Tax Professionals. I'm doing this recording to help people get ready for the end of year reporting, specifically for 1099s. I'm encouraging people to consider distributing what's called a W-9 to all people who have been providing any kind of personal service to you and your business. If it's over $600, then you need to consider getting a W-9 from them so that you can then issue what's called a 1099. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and then I'm going to go over the rules of who is supposed to receive a 1099, as well as who doesn't need to receive 1099, and then a software that you can use if you don't have another software that you're using, or another bookkeeper who is using the proper software. I'm going to try to be really quick about it too. So here we go. Okay, so almost every business rents. So on the 1099 miscellaneous form, anybody who receives over $600 in rent needs to receive a 1099. So that's almost all businesses. Maybe you own your property and your business rents from you and your property, then you need to issue yourself a 1099 because that's going to show up as income. So 1099 miscellaneous would also be used to report rent over $600. I don't know anybody who pays less than $600 for rent. Royalties over $10. I don't know many people who pay out royalties. Prizes and awards, other income payments, medical and health care. But predominantly what we're talking about is self-employment. So these are people who are providing janitorial services, landscaping, subcontractors, maybe people just doing work on your building, for example, or work around your office, your computer tech guy. Anybody who's not an employee needs to be receiving a 1099. Now there are some exempt companies. Any company that is taxed as an S corporation or C corporation or a nonprofit does not need to receive a 1099, except for nonprofits that are providing a service that are not related to what their, to their primary nonprofit activity. They would need to receive a 1099, strangely. And attorneys are not exempt no matter what. For some reason, the IRS really is interested in what attorneys are making, and then also medical and healthcare payments, those kinds of things. It doesn't matter if it's a corporation or anything like that. If you've paid, or if a company has paid somebody else for medical and healthcare, I guess maybe insurance or something like that, then they need to be issued a 1099. But that's not, I don't want to confuse you and say that you need to issue your doctor a 1099. That's not what I'm saying. I'm going to leave that for another conversation, because I'm just talking about 1099s for subcontractors, for people providing services that have received over $600 that are also unincorporated. But it doesn't matter. The only way to find out is by providing a document called a W-9. So right now, and the reason why I'm putting this video out is you need to start thinking about what's called a W-9 and get this out to all those people who you believe. You can run it, if you run it through your bookkeeping software, and see who you've paid an accumulated total of over $600 to, that is providing some sort of service. You wouldn't necessarily issue a 1099 to your auto parts mechanic or your auto, typically those companies are, incorporated, and you don't need to worry about that. These are people who, like your computer tech guy, your bookkeeper, your tax accountant, your cleaning person, your janitorial person, or anybody who maybe you have a small army of people providing services for your business, subcontractors. I wouldn't want you to try to do this yourself. You should know, if you are a business that relies heavily on subcontracting, what you need to be doing here. But typically, companies have bookkeepers, and bookkeepers will often file the 1099s for you. But you, as a business owner, need to be concerned about issuing W-9s, and you need to be doing it now. If you are going to be doing this work yourself, then you need to consider using a software that you can electronically file to the IRS. I recommend Track 1099. So if you Google Track 1099, you'll be able to, if you've got a handful of these forms that need to be filed, you can do it all through this. They get the 1099 out to the vendor, and it also it will also do the reporting to the IRS, which is all due before the end of January. But just because it's a couple months away doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing the homework, which is the W-9 and getting that out. Then once you've got it, starting December to January, you can start issuing, the end of December to the end of January, you can start issuing 1099s by going to the software, or QuickBooks Online or desktop should have the capability of providing that for you. But if you don't have that set up, you can use Track 1099. And then another thing, if you're an Oregon resident, you should be able to export an Excel spreadsheet, CSV file, or a compatible Excel spreadsheet that you would then go to what's called the Oregon Department of Revenue's iWire system. If you Google Revenue Online or iWire, then you should come to this window here, iWire. What is iWire? And then you could go to Take Me to iWire, and it will come to this screen. And then what you're going to need to do is file W-2s and 1099s using iWire. And then it will, you can enter them individually, manually, or you take the information that you provided to your other 1099 software, and then you've got to do Oregon separately. I know not everybody here, everybody who's listening to this is an Oregon resident, but this is the daunting aspect of Oregon's bureaucracy that we're navigating. And not all states are quite as bureaucratic as this, but chances are you do live in a state in which the software isn't compatible with, and you have to redo the work. So you can enter everything to a spreadsheet that's you can download from this software, and then you re-import it into the software. And once you've done that, you're good to go. Do your bookkeeper, do yourself and do your bookkeeper a favor and Google Form W-9, figure out who you've paid over $600. Large corporations are obvious. You don't need to send them out to those people, but to everybody else, send them out, whether or not you know if they qualify or not. Send out a W-9, follow up with it, make sure you get as many of those back as you possibly can. Then you can either enter the information to Track 1099, or you can attempt to, or you can hire a bookkeeper to handle that part for you. But a lot of it's going to need to be done, by you and the other people who are, in your business. Just Vote, enrolled agent, owner of Vote Tax Professionals. Give us a call if you need additional assistance. Perhaps you need to get a referral to a bookkeeper who might be able to help